Welcome everyone to Talking Hands.
Everybody.
I'm the Prodigal Fool. I'm joined tonight by my co-blogger on the Prodigal Guide, Straight Six, and I think I need to give a bit of a health warning at the beginning of this Talking Hands. I think this may be the dullest episode of Talking Hands we ever record, for two main reasons. The first is that I am stone cold sober.
You're drinking
tonight.
water. Oh,
Cheers.
cheers for what it's worth.
Luckily, you've more than made up for it since you've been drinking since lunchtime. And the second reason is that tonight we are looking at the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso, tribute to 1931.
Yeah.
Casa Fagliano.
Casa Fagliano being key.
And it is a watch which I think we're probably going to end up violently agreeing on.
I know.
We're probably just going to end up complimenting it and just being sycophantic about it.
So we're only going to leave a good, no bad, no ugly?
Well, let's see. Let's see what we can do. This is the watch which I think represents the pinnacle of the Reverso line. It's the watch that should rightfully be mine. Unfortunately, it's not mine. It's yours. You bought it. And I think, actually, before we go into the conversation about the watch itself, I'd love to hear the story about how this became your watch. How did you buy this thing?
Well...
And incidentally, the reason I'm curious is because until you rocked up with this thing, you weren't actually a Reverso guy. You never thought much about Reversos. I bought a Reverso, loved it, shown it to you.
You'd
were
had
completely
two
ambivalent
Reversos.
about it. Yes, I bought two. You were completely ambivalent about it.
Yeah.
And then you go off to California and come back with this.
So I found myself in Los Angeles, very comfortable, and I rock up one day and have lunch with a longtime follower of the guide called LA Watch Guy.
Oh no, this is your habit of meeting up with people that you don't know, that you've
In strange places.
that you've met on Twitter. You meet perfect strangers on Twitter. This is like the watch world equivalent of Tinder or one of these sort of gay shagging apps.
It's
isn't
called Winder, but it's not a Winder, something else. And anyway, this lovely guy who totally misleads me into thinking that he's some handsome, hirsute LA dude.
Oh, because his looks were a criteria in meeting him.
I don't know,
It's all coming out tonight.
Well, his profile photograph was very attractive, I have to say. Anyway,
so you left your wife and two lovely children in the Hollywood Hills
on no less than my first day in LA, right?
and went down to meet this perfect stranger.
So I go down and meet him. We go to a lovely Italian restaurant in Beverly Hills. We see all kinds of attractive and freakish people pulling up out front. But what he does is, inevitably, he pulls up his shirt sleeve and he says, check this. Mm-hmm. And what he ships me is this exact watch.
So he had this watch.
He had it on. And
The Fagliano model.
he had the Casa, it is the same watch he has, right? So this is 100 pieces, right, produced. 70 were for the US market and 30 found their way throughout the rest of the world. This is the brown strap Fagliano. There is a black strap version, but which I believe doesn't provide enough contrast, and we'll get into that later.
Well,
anyway.
this is probably the right moment to just quickly explain the difference between this and the standard 1931 model.
So it's very simple, actually, guys. The key difference is the hands themselves. So these hands are what's known as syringe hands. You can inject yourself full of that goodness coming out of Casa Fagliano. On the normal 1931 tribute, you have sword hands.
Yep.
There's something else that's more subtle that I don't think a lot of people actually catch. The sword hands, the loom on the sword hands of the standard model are brighter than the loom on the hour indexes. And that I find to be a gross oversight on behalf of Jaeger-LeCoultre, which is not the problem with this watch.
And this also has a sort of fake patina.
Yes.
It has that worn,
Yeah. We agree.
Richemont love this. They stick this fake patina.
And Panerai use it. I mean, people like Bell and Ross uses it.
Started using it as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets a real kick out of it.
But anyway, like it or not, that's the difference. And of course, the third big difference is the strap.
Is the strap itself, guys. Yeah. Now, look, okay, so anyway, but hold on. Can I get back to the lunch? Because I was having a nice lunch. I was having a nice story about lunch.
We'll go back to your Tinder encounter in just a moment. But important for people to understand before we go on. So the strap is made by Fagliano. For those who haven't who aren't familiar with the brand, this is an Argentinian leather maker, famous for making polo boots. Of course, ties
For
beautifully
royalty and all this kind of stuff.
to the polo associations with the Reverso.
But very restricted amounts, right? This is not mainstream production.
What they do
rare
is make polo
pieces.
boots and other leather goods. The watch straps are something they've only made at the request of Jaeger-LeCoultre.
Exactly.
And what's interesting,
you can't find it anywhere else. You can't order a Casafagliano leather strap watch.
There's a whole discussion to be had about that, because actually you can buy similar looking straps from Fagliano. They don't advertise them. Jaeger-LeCoultre don't let them advertise them on their website. But little research on the internet will tell you that if you make contact with them, they will actually ship you one. But not in the exact colour. They're slightly different. The colour and the stitching is slightly off. So in other words, if you want this particular strap, you can only get it on one of the 100 models that.
Can I go back to my Tinder encounter? No, because because I'm burning over.
No,
but okay, fine. It's if you want to hear it,
bursting at the seams.
Okay. Anyway, so we're flashing watches at one another. I've got my Rolex 1530 on, which he's absolutely loving. But he shows me this, and for the first time ever, the Reverso concept finally fell into place. I looked at what he had and I simply said, that's right. And I think that's happened to me actually with a lot of watch purchases that I've had, is I've simply looked at a watch and it has ticked all of the boxes in one go. Not only that, it's had incredible emotional pull too.
So you bought the watch from him there and then?
No, I didn't. We had something worse. We had a 2.5-hour lunch followed by martinis, followed by my going back to my godparents' house and collapsing on my children in a heap. That's another story for another time. And I made
different show.
Yeah, and I made the mistake of actually saying to him, sure, by all means, could you see whether there are any left in the US? And bless his little cotton socks, or actually they're silk socks, he managed to find the very last Casafagliano brown leather strap in the entire United States. And we were able to go visit it several days later at the Beverly Hills Jaeger-LeCoultre boutique.
Nice. So you got so this is not only one of 100 watches; it's the last watch that was on sale in the dealer network.
So it's the last of 70 in the US, if the split is to be believed.
Expensive lunch.
So what's the good for me? Well, look, guys, I'm not going to bullshit you. If you can't see it on the basis of this video, then there's something wrong with your watch eyes. It is, without a doubt, the most refined, pointed, and I think poignant Reverso I've ever seen. Every other iteration that I look at is trying to do something to an original concept that was perfect to begin with. And what's lovely about this one is they brought it
I haven't
back.
run off. I'll be back.
No, he's coming back. Don't worry, guys. He's opposite me and I've got a gun. Right, so everything falls into place. And by the way, notice that, of course, your wrist is significantly larger than mine, and it wears just as well on you.
Misspent youth.
I know, well, nobody's perfect. And it wears just as well on you as it does on me. For me, that's the magic of the piece.
I'd argue it wears a little bit better on me. But,
You would, because you believe it's yours. So the good, I think, for me were several things. The first is I really fell for it. I mean, I didn't just have a crush on it. I fell madly in love with it. The second is the exclusivity. It's 100 pieces.
Yeah.
The third is the combination. The black Casafagliano is not the same thing. And you've pointed out to me, more than a few times, the common mistake is that people think a Reverso is a dress watch. And tell me something about that.
Well, no, I mean, I think Americans in particular regard the Reverso as a dress watch because it's small, it's thin and elegant looking, and so they equate that with it being a dress watch. So they tend to put black straps on it and wear it like that. But as a European, growing up on the continent, we're used to seeing Reversos, as I think they should be worn, on brown straps as casual sports watches, which, to be fair, in the 1930s
is what they were. I agree.
Right? Originally designed for playing polo.
Okay.
If you want to believe the marketing spiel. But certainly, I mean, to me, the character of the watch is to be more casual, more sporting, and therefore, of course, should be on a brown strap. Of course, without shadow of a doubt.
All right, and I think this is the last point. It's not to be underestimated. A lot of people would say to you, this is nonsense, guys. Come on, they're paying you, they're asking you to pay a massive premium simply because you've got some Argentinian bootmaker to bang a strap on it. But this strap really is exquisite. And by the way, this is you and I who've been to ABP, Atelier des Bracelets Parisiens, numerous times now, and I think we've seen arguably the best that's out there in terms of straps. This is truly something else.
But again, what I like about it is that it fits the character of the watch, because there's nothing flash about this. It's just good quality leather, the same leather they make their polo boots out of. It feels like it'll last a lifetime.
It gets better with age. It darkens, and also not unimportant is this fold over here that you get. It beefs up the Reverso and it transforms it.
Yeah.
So on usual straps, what you do is you don't. You don't actually get this kind of an extra layer on it, and the stitching actually highlights it. What it does is it really, it brings out the Reverso frame itself, the frame of the watch
it very nicely.
There you go.
Butches it up just a little bit. Yeah.
As they say in French, jusqu'il faut.
Yeah. The only thing that troubles me about this watch, and when I say troubles, it's haunted me since the day you brought it back, because I so desperately want one myself, is because I simply don't see how Jaeger-LeCoultre will ever be able to improve on this. So they've made 100 of these, and I keep saying 100 because I don't count the other 100 they made with the black strap, because for reasons we've just covered.
And then there's another 100 with the rose gold chocolate dial,
but
blah.
Those
right?
are all variations, and they don't come close to being the perfect combination that this represents.
I'm with
the
you.
strap, the dial, the fake patina, the syringe hands. It all comes together and works perfectly. There is absolutely nothing you can or should change on the design of this watch. And I don't see how Jaeger-LeCoultre will ever be able to better this. So the bad is more frustration, which is, damn.
What happens from here?
Well, if you weren't lucky enough to bag one of the hundreds that they made, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So that would be me. That would be me. I am now screwed because you can't find these, because no one who bought them would ever sell them. Including you. I've tried to buy this from you a number of times now.
I think at least 3 or 4 times.
Yes, and I've offered you a not insubstantial amount of money for it. And you refuse to sell it. And unfortunately, you're right to refuse to sell it. So that's, for what it's worth, that's my bad. Is I'm just so frustrated that this is as good as the Reverso is ever going to get, and I don't see how I'll ever be able to own one.
It's problematic for the entire Reverso proposition to have produced a piece as good as this, because it's only downhill from there.
The other thing about this is you mentioned that they charged a premium because it was a limited edition. I think that's true, but the premium was insignificant. It was maybe $400 or $500 more than a regular model.
Exactly. It's a small amount of money. Maybe it's $1,000, whatever.
I don't think it was. We'll check, but I don't think it was. In fact, I'm not sure it wasn't the same price. In fact.
In any case, there is a small price difference.
The premium,
but like you said, insignificant.
And it wasn't a particularly expensive watch to start off with. $6,000-7,000.
It was $7,800.
Okay, that's new from the boutique.
We agree.
So, if you could find one, it was very obtainable as well for such an important watch. You know, the Reverso is one of the icons.
And by the way, as important as the AP, as important as the sub, as important as anything.
As important, if not more, of any watch that's ever been made.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of the influence and so on. So they've done the very best version of it. They've made 100 of them, and that's it. For the rest of us, just go home frustrated. It's like visiting a really good strip club.
We've got to get to the bottom line.
The bottom line is, I'd like to make you another offer. Live, on air.
And I, live and on air, would love to refuse
to decline, I know.
Because I simply, however difficult my financial situation is, I can only conclude the following, which is, it's the ultimate Reverso. It's arguably the most elegant piece that I own in my entire collection. And I do underline the word elegant, because Jaeger-LeCoultre does elegance like no other watch brand. It really is sumptuous, and it's discreet, and it's refined, and it's restrained. And it's all about whether you know what it is and what it's about. And that, for me, is everything. I think that's everything a Reverso should be. Now, so what? You're strapping it on, you're going to take it away?
Yes, I'm certainly going to try it on again.
Little prick.
The bottom line, I think, is obvious. If you've bought one, hang on to it. Don't ever think of selling it. If, unfortunately, like me, you weren't able to get one, keep your eyes peeled, and the minute one comes up, snap it up, because it will never get better than this for the Reverso.
Or kill a friend for one. I mean, one or the other, right?
Now there's a thought.
Oh, indeed.
Join us next time where I may very well be on my own wearing this Reverso.
Oh, to your good health.
Until that happy day, where your watch is in very good health.
Good health, guys.
Good night.
Take care.